On this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to fix those long gaps on your laminate vinyl plank flooring or LVP or engineered wood flooring if the gap is located on the long side of the plank. So stay tuned. Welcome to Fix This House. If you're new to the channel, please consider pressing the subscribe and notification bells. You can always be in tune on DIYs, how-to videos, and product reviews that I do within this channel. Today's episode is a special request by a fellow subscriber who is asking me how to fix these gaps when the gap is on the length or the long side of the plank. I know I did a video already on how to fix gaps on the short side where the two planks meet from end to end. If you want to check out that video, I'll leave it on the link right on the top side. We're gonna use this pretty much some of the same techniques. So in this episode, I'm gonna be showing you some few tips and tricks on how to fix these gaps, okay? So just a quick explanation on why this happens on your flooring. This is vinyl plank flooring, or what you can call luxury vinyl plank, LVP. It's a floating floor, meaning that it's not glued to the subfloor or it's not nailed down. Few laminate products, LVP and engineered wood floors are this type where it floats on top of the floor and it tends to shift whatever direction expansion and contraction happens on your flooring. That's why we keep it floating and we leave those 1/4 inch gaps all around the border. Well, over time, you're gonna have movement, and obviously if you have kids like me, they tend to run around, play with their cars, they go back and forth, and over time we leave these mini gaps right here, which will tend to separate little by little, which will cause a domino effect and cause the other adjacent flooring to separate as well. You have two ways that they will separate. It'll either be on the long side, but the most common ones that tend to separate is on the short side of the plank. What I did here is I got 2x4s that are close to the same length of the vinyl plank that we have. Same thing here. I went and cut 2 of the same sizes. Make sure that the bottom portion is nice and clean. And then we're gonna apply double-sided tape on here. You can put double-sided tape on this whole run. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut into sections right here. Same thing on the other side to save material. But if you have enough double-sided tape, why not? Go for it. Okay, so I'm gonna apply double-sided right here, section right here, and a section right here. So unfortunately, I ran out of double-sided tape. I might have to just use half of this. So I'm gonna cut that in half, like so. And I'm gonna have to move this on this side. I'm gonna flip this over, put it on one end. And you wanna try to do it as close to the edge. You don't wanna make it too far. You just wanna put like about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Same thing here. Now before you put any pressure on this, you don't want to stick it all the way through. We're going to be using these bar clamps. So you can actually make little pieces of wood. It doesn't have to be this wide like this 2x4. If you do use little pieces of wood to do this, it might work, but might not be as effective. And you might be able to get away by using these smaller bar clamps. But in this case, as you can see, this smaller bar clamps won't meet from end to end like what you see here. So what I'm gonna have to use, I'm gonna be using this larger bar clamps right here. If you wanna know where I got these bar clamps, I'll leave it in the description down below. Check these out. But either or, you can use these. But again, the bigger bar clamps will be a lot more powerful when you try to close these gaps up. What you're gonna do is you're gonna try to position this like so where you want it. So in this case, I want it like this. So I'm gonna arrange my bar clamps to go on this direction. All right, just like that. Now that I've set it to where I want it, this is where we can start putting pressure on this, like so, to make the 2x4 stick. I'm gonna put my body weight on top of here because that's what we need to make contact, okay? And then we're just gonna clamp this down and see how it moves. Nice. So you don't want to close this up too much. Just leave it where it is. You don't want to try to close it because you're gonna have to level out. Like what I mentioned on the other side, the plank is gonna shift on a tilt, okay? If you clamp this up, it's gonna, on the other side, it's gonna tilt up. This is gonna tilt down. So you're just gonna slowly leave it on this position. And let's go to the other side because now it is lopsided. Okay, so now let's move on to the other side. You can see the movement, and then just try to close it up like here. Okay, see that? So what you're gonna do, sometimes when it's a little harder to do, you're gonna try to tap it along here so that you can get that tongue to go inside that groove or whichever direction it is. What you can do now is loosen this up. Okay. And we can keep this here, and then we're gonna try to move this on the middle. It's all about what pattern you wanna go to. You wanna go this side, that side, middle, this side, middle. Make it a pattern, or you can go middle, side, it's all up to you. And I'm gonna close it up from there. So there's a little bit of movement in the middle. Notice how I'm just, I'm clamping this bar clamp slowly. And then once that's done, I'm gonna release it, put it back here, clamp it on the side. And now I'm gonna move on to the left side. Well, my left side. And then just close it up from there. Now you probably understand why I did a long 2x4 piece about the same length of the planks. It's because that, for example, if you use a small piece, let's just say this is a scrap piece, you put your double-sided tape. 2 of these you put right here, you clamp it. Now you're gonna have to take that off and move it to the right, take that off, move it to the middle, and so forth. By the time you're doing that, your double-sided tape is pretty much worn out, dirty. Now you got to go get a clean rag and clean off that double-sided tape and repeat. With this technique where you just got 2 long 2x4s, notice how easy it is to move these clamps back and forth without having to do any of that. And here is the status so far if you guys want to see it. Let me zoom in. Notice how it's slowly closing in there. I know it doesn't look as much like there's things that happened, but look at that. It's starting to close little by little already. Another tip, I'm 175 pounds. The clamping force on this, I do not know. It's a little strong. So if you can have a second person to stand here with you while you do this and add more weight to push this down while you're clamping, even better. Another reason why this planks might not fully close all the way, you want to look at other adjoining columns or rows that you have for your planks. And some of them have gaps as well, like what you see here. You will have to go and close this as well. Try to do that. So I know it's a little bit tedious going back and forth, but that's one of the best ways I could think of to close these gaps. We're gonna go and try to move this, go on this side, do the same thing here, close that up, and then go to the other side as well. See where that gap is? Try to close that up. And once those make full contact, then we can start moving this puzzle piece forward, because those are the hindrances that we have, this one and that side, from making this fully close on this side. Took out the 2x4 on this end. You can still see that there's a minimal gap there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 2x4s and move it on this end so I can close this gap up. Let's try to clamp this side down. Put a little bit more. See that? Gap is gone there. And if we look at the gap that we were originally trying to close, which was the one right here, the gap there, there's a little tiny bit left, but it's a lot better than what we were working at before. If I can show you the before. Now it's very normal for the joints to have a gap like that. Now it's easy to close that up. Wipe this area first. Wipe your suction cup tool. Place it on this end and just tap this. See that? I know the suction cups moves, but it did close up that gap. So the same thing that you did on this side, you'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Notice that once this closed up, it pretty much followed through and it closed up right there. Given there's a little bit of tiny gap right there, but it's way better than what it looked before. So the main takeaways of this video is pretty much using these 2x4s, cutting them in the same length of the plank, and pretty much using the double-sided tape, friends. What I could have done better, I wish I did, was I wish I had enough double-sided tape, because pulling these planks out and replacing them and repositioning them in different places will wear off your double-sided tape, and it will even tear it apart. If you take your time and you use the right equipment, you can accomplish in getting these gaps closed up. You might not get it 100%, but you will get it closed up to look better than what it looked before. So if you have some suggestions and tips and tricks that you want to add, leave it in the description down below. Let's share it with the community. Let's have a conversation with everybody, and let's help each other out, because this channel is all about helping each other, including myself. Again, I'm not perfect. If I leave something out or if I miss something, let me know in the comment. Let's all be respectful. Thank you so much, friends. I value your time, and I appreciate every love and support that you guys give me. Please hit that big thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, and I'll see you, friends, on the next video.